Welcome to the Delingpod with me, James Delingpole, and I know I always say I'm excited about this week's special guest, but before we meet her, let's have a word from one of our sponsors. Welcome to the Delingpod, Dr. Robin Perry Braun. Do you know what? I really am looking forward to this podcast because I don't know where it's going to go.
Okay.
Because my friend Izzy Seaton, did a podcast with you the other day, and she said, I started out and I wasn't sure, but then she told me the most amazing stuff. And do you know what? She'd be much better for you because you are so completely out there. You're going to love what she says. So I'm really. Tell me first of all, where are you at the moment? What state?
I'm in Texas, which is
Nice.
a big state. I'm in the Dallas area at the moment. So I just bought a home a little bit east of Dallas. I'll be moving next month, but I've more or less been a nomad for the past 2 years because I'm an empty nester now and I work mostly virtually. So I thought, why not work from the beach instead of from Texas?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
What exactly do you do?
So I'm an ordained minister. I have a master's in psychology and I have a PhD in integrative medicine that I got from a quantum university. So it's a combination of energy medicine and alternative medicine or homeopathy, naturopathy. So it's kind of all of the above. And so I have a practice where I combine physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual issues. And I use muscle response testing to ask, we are quantum supercomputers, so we actually know everything. We know everything about our whole life. We actually know our ancestry. Our DNA is a record of, our ancestors' lives, and they have lots of science that's proving this now. And so I'm able to use muscle response testing to essentially ask the subconscious any question on the planet about their life, their ancestors' life, that type of thing. So what we're looking for are the root causes of things that aren't going well in their life, and then finding the remedies for that. So I'm a certified detoxing specialist. I have, I do a lot of nutritional work, but mental, emotional work, releasing trauma, trapped emotions, and reprogramming limiting beliefs. And then as weird as you can get spiritually, I do it.
We like some people, but not me. I have to say, some people will be listening to this, and they'll be going, "Yeah, but it's all woo. You can't do that stuff. It doesn't. How can the body possibly know about our ancestors and about
Right.
everything?"
Yeah, and so what I bring to the table is I have a biblical background. So
Yeah.
the bulk of my clients are Christians. And then I have this whole quantum energy medicine background. And most people who poo-poo it have never done any research on the quantum field or understanding quantum or the concept of atoms and atomic and frequencies and vibrations. But the truth is that everything is information. So your vitamins are information, everything's frequency, and frequency is information. So people will go, well, what about the DNA? And you're like, well, the DNA, they've done all this study on the actual DNA. And while we think it's this little tiny physical thing, it also is an energetic container of information. And so if you start to go down this road of understanding that everything is information, that's how we can understand that the DNA actually contains the information of our ancestors. Now, I don't care like what your grandfather ate for breakfast on, September 15th, 1935, right? I don't care. It doesn't matter. But if they were in a veteran and they had PTSD, and they've done all kinds of research to show trauma gets actually handed down in the DNA specifically. So we're dealing with generational trauma. I deal with that all the time. These are things that they've done scientific research to prove. So people who want to go, that's poo-poo or that's woo-woo, and people don't even know what woo-woo means. It's just anything that's weird they call woo-woo or whatever. But the truth is that all of this stuff can be discussed or explained from a scientific perspective. But it's weird because you can't see vibration, but we talk about it all the time. We walk in a room and we go, oh, I got a bad vibe from that guy. Yes, you did. You were communicating energetically using frequency with that person. We have all kinds of research to show that intention is projected and it can be stored and it can affect. All the experiments of Dr. Masaru Emoto are repeatable about the power of intention over water molecules. And you can go look him up right now on the internet and see, like, it's weird. It's unbelievable. It's fantastical, but it's truth and it's reproducible. So how do we know if something's true? Somebody can show it scientifically and those experiments can be reproduced. And so I think really the issue is more education. But we interact quantumly every day. You turn on your TV, that's a quantum principle. You turn on the radio, that's a quantum principle. Light is a quantum principle. Why am I drawn to certain colors over other colors? That's a quantum principle. Why do I like certain precious stones? Why do I like amethyst and not rubies, right? There's a principle over the frequency of color and how and the frequency of different stones. So all this stuff that the New Age is kind of captured and they use, and they may be a little weird about it, is still grounded in science. It's how it's being used that we want to pay attention to.
Just before we go on, there's loads of questions I want to ask you, but
Okay.
I can hear a sort of wow, 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 wow noise, and I'm wondering whether we can. It's not disastrous. It's not ruining the sound, but it.
Hold on. Okay. You know what? Let me try my other laptop. If we
Yeah,
can just pause for a minute. I think it's the noise on the laptop.
we're there. Can you hear me? Okay.
Okay. I can now, yeah.
Yeah, great. Yeah, that's better. I think people would have been. It would have
Distracted,
slightly.
yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Um,
Yeah.
I can tell you're super bright. It's funny how you can tell fairly instantly people's intelligence levels. How did you get into this game?
So that's a really good question, and I'll make a very long story short. But I would say the best way to, I just think this has always been my calling.
Hmm.
Are you okay? There seems to be a little bit of a delay. Is that on your end as well?
Um, not, yeah, it's there,
Not
but
too.
it's not too annoying.
Okay, all right. So I had an eating disorder as a teenager. I went to a treatment center. I had just become a Christian. While I was there, I just knew that I was called into counseling. So I was already a senior in college. I went back and changed my major, kind of started over. I had never taken a psychology course in my life. Loved it, knew this is what I was called to do. And from that point on, I just was very supernaturally led in so many different ways. This is okay.
That's better.
Um, the next thing, so I'm studying psychology. I'm learning about all these ministry, inner healing, deliverance modalities. So that part of my life is clipping along. And then in my mid-20s, I had chronic fatigue, and I knew that they couldn't really cure it. I was trying to just have a really clean diet. And so I happened to go see a friend. I mean, just so many divine appointments. Like nobody was doing this stuff in the early 90s, right? So this was in like 1990. I go to my friend who's a chiropractor in Atlanta, tell him to get an adjustment and tell him I have chronic fatigue. And he starts whipping out all these little vials of stuff and muscle testing me. He didn't even really explain what he was doing. And I was like, what are you doing? He says, you have high levels of mercury in your body. Well, I had a mouthful of metal.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, what do I do? He says, you have to get your fillings replaced with composites. And I think there was one dentist in all of Atlanta that I knew of, or that I don't know if he referred me or I just happened to meet somebody at a church who worked for this dentist.